Hi everyone, my name is Leanne and today I'm going to be sharing with you my Penguin English Library collection. Now if you've been on this channel for any amount of time, you know that I collect these beautiful editions of classics that are behind me. Today I'm going to be telling you all about my relationship with these books, why I decided to collect them, and showing off every single book in my collection. And I also have this, which was sent to me by the lovely people at Penguin, and it contains 5 of their new additions to the Penguin English Library books, but you're gonna have to stick around till the end to find out what's in here. I first began my Penguin English Library collection back in December 2015, but it wasn't much of a collection really. It was just one book, Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte. I then went on to get my hands on a couple more, both Herman Melville books, and I then realised that these were the editions of classics that I wanted to collect. Now there are an abundance of stunningly designed classics out there, but the Penguin English Library books are definitely ones for me. I adore the gorgeous cover designs by Bickford-Smith, and here are some of my favourites, and the iconic orange edges to the spines make the books look incredible on the shelf. I was beyond excited when I managed to get my hands on one of my all-time favourite books in these editions, Middlemarch by George Eliot. It is definitely one of my favourite covers as well, and I think it feels like destiny that one of my favourite classics of all time is in like my favourite colour. Now these editions were released in 2012 but have unfortunately since gone out of print. You can still get your hands on brand new copies if you look closely in your local bookstore or online, but some editions are trickier to get hold of than others. If you ever come across a copy of Shirley or Jude the Obscure or Our Mutual Friend, then be sure to let me know. This means it's a real scavenger hunt to try and find some of these books. Whenever I visit somewhere, be it on holiday to a new place or back to my hometown, I always try and find a Penguin English Library book in a used bookstore. Here are some that I found on trips to London, a couple from my favourite bookstore in Dublin, and one from the iconic festival at Hay-on-Wye. This does mean that some of my books have a little bit more wear and tear than others, but I don't mind the fact that they're well loved. Until recently, the most modern Penguin English Library book was Dubliners, a collection of short stories written by James Joyce and published originally in 1914. However, Penguin, as I just spoke about, have just released some incredible new modern classic titles. They still have stunning design by Bickford-Smith, still have iconic orange edges, and still great literature on the inside. And that brings us on nicely to opening this up. You guys have no idea how excited I am about this. This is literally like Christmas. So this is 1984 by George Orwell, and this was one of the ones that I was really hoping that I would be sent. I have read 1984 before, but I recently unhauled my edition of it because I did want to replace it with this one. I think 1984 is one of those books that's kind of absorbed into like public consciousness. But if you don't know anything about this, essentially this is a dystopian book that was written in 1948 about the year 1984. I also have The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald. I really love The Great Gatsby. Again, this is one that I have already read, so it's not adding to my TBR, which is good. But again, I unhauled an edition of this recently because I wanted to replace it. This is about the jazz age in America, and it is about this super rich guy called Jay Gatsby and his obsession with this woman. And it's essentially about how the American dream destroyed a lot of America. It's a complete American classic that I think if you want to understand American writing, this is one that you should definitely read. Do you ever think about the fact that like the green active lights on like Facebook Messenger are the modern like millennial equivalent of Gatsby's green light? Because I do. So we have Ghost Stories by M.R. James. Now this is one that I don't know as much about, but I'm guessing it's just a collection of ghost stories. I am trying and failing to read at least one short story collection per month, so maybe this would be a great pick for me in October. I think there are 17 stories in here, and M.R. James is referred to as the master of the English ghost story. And these stories reveal a world where the familiar becomes diabolical, the smallest object takes on horrifying properties, and evil brushes against everyday life in unexpected ways. Penguin, you have done exceptionally well here. You are definitely ticking the boxes of some of the books that I wanted. Admittedly, you couldn't have ticked all the boxes unless I had all of them. But this next one is To the Lighthouse by Virginia Woolf. Now, I've read a little bit of Virginia Woolf before, but not loads. I've heard a lot of great things about To the Lighthouse. I believe in this book, Virginia Woolf really captures how not only the sea, but life in general, and then by extension, how she is writing ebbs and flows. It's about childhood delight and the complexity of adult relationships, and I really need to read some more Virginia Woolf. And the last one is The Beetle by Richard Marsh. Don't know anything about this one, but I've seen some really cool graphics. Like Penguin have made these graphics where like the beetles like crawl off the page. It's really cool. So this is a horror novel. I don't read a lot of horror novels, but you know, come October, I might be in the mood for it. This is about mesmerism, murder, and shape-shifting. It's a late Victorian novel, and at one point it was even outselling Dracula. I think horror is one of those genres that I need to read more of. Like whenever I pick up a horror book, I really enjoy it. I love how horror can like create such a like visceral reaction from a reader. Reading horror stories can often have such a physical effect on oneself, and it's so amazing. The package also came with this lovely postcard from Coralie Bickford-Smith, who I mentioned designs these books, and I want to give a massive thanks to her for like hooking me up with Penguin so I could get some of these books, and a massive thanks to everyone at Penguin who has been involved with creating and promoting these books. They are very dear to my heart, so I'm really glad I've been able to make this video. So yeah, they are all of my new Penguin English Library books. All of the relevant links will be down below in the description if you want to check any of these out. And now I'm gonna try and find somewhere to squeeze these books on my shelf. Anyways, that's all from me today. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day, and I will talk to you in my next video.